Hello, so today I'm going to start working on a new recording. This is just a little bit about how I'm working with this new sort of doorless process, and whilst I'm waiting for some vocals to come back on some other tracks, I thought let's start something new. So we'll start off with the synth. We can make a sequence on the Korg Monologue here. So all I have to do is select some notes. If I press record, it'll just put them into a sequence one at a time, and then it'll play it all the way through. So let's begin with that. It sounds a little bit mad at the moment. What I can do is I can start shaping that sound, making something sound a little bit nicer. So now that I'm relatively happy with that, what I can start doing is I can add a beat using the MC-101, and I can actually shape the sound with some of the scatter effects built into the MX1. So what I'm going to do now is add a beat effect. So beat effects, if I click on this button here and click select, that'll show me the patterns at the top. That's effectively doing the same thing on here, but because it's not coming direct from the synth, the notes are still being triggered. It's more of just mutes. So it will sound slightly different. You'll have a little bit of maybe the tail of the last note coming through, which makes it sound quite interesting. So that changes the flow of things completely. If we then add the beat back to it, I can add these scatter effects, which will chop up the sound. Often sounds quite interesting. Depending on where I put this knob, it'll do something different. There are also some combi effects, which have some really cool sounds. So say we're going to stick with that, I can now blend from that into a hopefully relatively interesting sounding piece of music. So there's the beginning of maybe a loop or something. What it needs now is to have something else going on. So I can go over to the MC-101. I've got 4 channels to work with there. I can group them into channels so that I can have like the first 3 channels put onto another channel, which allows me more space. But really, for what I want to make is relatively simplistic. I only really ever need 4 channels anyway, because you can get some quite complex sounds. Bear in mind, I also have a 5th channel for this synth, and the drum track is, 16 channels split onto 1 fader, so you've got quite a lot to work with. So as you'll notice, that's only actually it's measured out in steps, so that's only actually a 16-step sequence. I want to increase that so it'll loop through twice and have something slightly different on the second loop, so I can now adjust that to, what would it be, 32? So you'll notice that last note was actually wrong, but what I can do is if I go into sequence mode, I can just adjust that with one of the dials. So now that that note sounds a bit more how I want it to sound, I can now start playing around with the sound. So I'm going to start by flicking through the presets, seeing if there's anything that I like on there. I can then adjust the sound afterwards. So now I can also continue with that, and I could add 2 other sounds. What I'm going to do now is just have a bit of fun and play around and see if I can shape these sounds any more to get something interesting. So this is just getting a really simple pattern down that I like, and then just experimenting with the sounds, changing things around, and just seeing if any happy accidents happen. So that's a nice little idea of how my workflow goes. I'm not necessarily going to turn that exact piece into a track, but this is how I'm going to be playing around for the next few weeks, just trying to come up with some ideas. What I made then was okay. I kind of liked it. I could probably do something better just by playing around a little bit more, playing with the sound on the Monologue for sure. Will definitely get me a bit more inspired and give me some more ideas of stuff to work to. So for now, that's it.